Hey, what's happening everyone? I am Sir James from Gamerfuzion.com, and in today's video I'm here to give you guys my own personal opinions on the Star Wars Battlefront beta. Now do keep in mind that this video is currently based on my own personal opinion, so whether you agree or disagree, that is totally up to you. So first off, basically what I want to cover is to quickly touch up on the different game modes. What do I like, what do I don't like, and what do I want to see fixed before the final product comes out. So let's go ahead and start with the different game modes. For example, in the beta, you had about 3 different game modes. For the competitive multiplayer, you had Drop Pod and Walker Assault, and of course you also had a mission category, which you could either do by yourself, which is basically like a survival mode, but in the beta we only were able to go up to 6 rounds and weren't really able to take on the full effect of it, so I can't really talk too much about it because there wasn't enough there to kind of justify what we're talking about. But again, it's basically a survival mode. You could even bring a friend in for a cooperative play, or you could take part in a split screen option, which I thought was nice. But I did notice that if you're doing a split screen option, the frame rate actually drops to 30 frames rather than the current 60 frames that the game does currently run on. Now the first mode, which is Drop Pod, which is basically an infantry based game mode, so meaning no vehicles whatsoever. And for this one, basically what happens is that a drop pod will come in from either one of the ships or from orbit, and pretty much both teams fight to secure the drop pod. Whoever secures it has to defend it for a certain amount of time. Once you successfully do that, you will earn a point, and the drop pod would open up, granting some different abilities like a shield generator, turret, or maybe some mines which you could place along the battlefield. But overall the mode was pretty simplistic. It was alright. Maybe it's because the map we were on wasn't that exciting, but I do like the fact that for the map you were playing on, which I think was Tatooine, I can't remember on top of my head, but there was world scenarios that you had to watch out for. For example, you could easily fall into a pit and die, or you could walk into another pit which had like this moldering liquid which is basically chewing you up from the inside, lowering your health quite dramatically, which will definitely give the other team an advantage if you're not paying attention to where exactly you're going to, which I thought was kind of nice. And of course, if you have access to the jump pack, you could easily jump across the opposing team and of course get the drop on them. But overall the mode was pretty much alright. Maybe it's because the map we're on wasn't that exciting, but again, it was pretty basic and it was just okay. Now the next mode is Walker Assault, which is the main mode that everyone's playing. Now Walker Assault is currently taking place on the Battle of Hoth, or at least the map we were currently on is the Battle of Hoth, where you have the Rebels versus the Empire, and basically depending on what team you are on will determine your objectives. For example, if you're on the Rebel Alliance, you have to secure both sat links to call in the wiping bombers, to temporarily disable the walkers, and to destroy them, while the Empire has to guide the walkers all the way to your shield generator and to destroy it. Simple as that. Now for this mode, I felt like there seems to be an unbalancing issue, because due to the fact that the Empire would win 99.9% of the time, while the Rebel Alliance not so much, unless if you have a team who knows exactly what they're doing and you have that strong bond of teamwork, then you're not technically going to win anything. Or unless if you have that one guy who's basically waiting until the walkers get to your shield generator to hop into the snow speeders and to take them out that way. But again, right now it seems to be very unbalanced, and when people mostly play this mode, everyone prefers being on the Empire side only rather than the Rebel Alliance, due to the fact that the Rebels would always lose. But there is a couple little issues I do want to address besides the balancing issues, is starting with the heroes. Now there are power-ups in the actual maps that you could actually pick up a hero. For the Rebel Alliance you have Luke Skywalker, while the Empire you have Darth Vader. Now the issue with the heroes is the fact that they're too easy to kill. In like Star Wars Battlefront 1 and 2, the heroes are almost godlike, but here you could technically kill a hero in 5 seconds, like 5 seconds or less, depending on how you're killing them. Or of course, if a hero is not paying attention, for example, aka Luke Skywalker, you could easily get stomped on by a walker and die that way, which is technically alright, because I mean in real life, if you're getting squashed by a walker, you would technically die anyways. But the heroes, they're too easy to kill. That's the problem. That's the main issue here. I feel like they should buff up the heroes a little bit more to make them more of a threat on the battlefield. But just every time you see a hero, which is basically when the Star Wars music kicks in, you can kill them in 5 seconds. Simple as that. And I feel like they just need to tweak up or buff the heroes a little bit more. And that's really about it for that mode. But anyways, that's pretty much the modes that were currently available. I do want to go ahead and go over the positives and negatives. Starting with the positives, the visual aspect of the game is just amazing. I do like the amount of detail and artwork that they put into it with the characters, the weapons. I do like the fact that when you're running or standing alongside the Imperial walkers and you happen to look above, you can just see the massive scale on these things. And just overall, the visual aspect was just splendid looking, one of the best looking Star Wars games that I've seen to date. Now, besides the heroes feeling a bit underpowered and also due to some of the imbalancing issues, there is one major complaint that I have about the beta altogether, which I hope they change for the final product, is in regards to the buddy system. Now, the way they did it for this is that you could have one buddy. For that buddy, you could actually spawn onto them during the battle, things like that. You could also have access to abilities, which I thought that was pretty cool. However, the problem is you could only pair up with one person. Now, comparing it to something like Star Wars Battlefront 2, in that game, at least against the AIs, you could actually form a squad up to 4 members. But here in the Star Wars Battlefront reboot, you can only pair up with one person, which is not so good, especially if you have a group of friends you want to play with. You're kind of at a disadvantage here, and that's another thing, is when you're forming a group to bring all your friends into play, a lot of times when you spawn into the maps, sometimes you'll be put onto one team while the other half of your friends or one other member is put onto the other, and just the way it's formed, it's a bit of a disaster. Just trying to play with your friends is really hard to almost near impossible to do. The whole buddy system being limited to one person definitely needs to be changed, at least up to 4 members to make it a full squad. But that's the only major issue that I really have with the beta, is that they should allow us to form a squad at least up to 4 players rather than one buddy, and that's pretty much all that I would like to see changed. But have you guys played the beta? Let me know in the comment section down below, what do you guys think? But overall, I still question whether the game is going to be really successful if they actually do fix some of the issues that we're currently having now, and depending on what the future will look like, we may have something really good here or something really bad, but only time can tell. But until then, I am Sir James from Gamerfuzion.com, where we empower your gaming.